6 years ago, Insta360 released something called the Insta360 Go, which was a pocketable little action camera that was modular and it had a little case you'd take with it. 4 years ago, they released the Go 2. This was an incredibly small camera to just be able to take around any place with a magnetic back and its own little tripod built into the case. This was about the size of an AirPods case. Really great. But they took it further and released the Insta360 Go 3. Year after that, they came out with the Insta360 Go 3S. It upped the resolution, it upped the frame rates, and it made it a little bit different shape. And with the 3 came the action pod. So you could actually see what you're filming on the camera, something you couldn't do with the 2 and the original. And it was also a charging pod, so it could give you some extra boost in your battery. And it was a charging pod, so it would give you an extra battery time with it if you used it in the case, or you just up it in the case to charge up. So people wondered, what was the Insta360 Go 4 gonna bring that these other cameras didn't have, with each series bringing up some incremental additions to either frame rate, resolution, battery life, something like that. Well, we had that answer today, and the answer is the Insta360 Go Ultra. What they have done is they've changed the case size for the camera itself. So now it's a square case. When I first saw this, I wasn't sure how I felt about it, since I'd really grown to like the pill form of the Go 3 and the Go 3S. But the more I've used this, the more I realize this is really a fantastic form factor. It makes it so that you no longer press the buttons to accidentally start recording or change a video mode or a photo mode or something like that. And its bigger size allows for a larger sensor, which allows for better low light capability and cleaner images, and it also allows for it to do 4K 60 frames per second. This means that this tiny little action camera has now delivered something that only came to GoPros and the DJI Action just a couple years ago in a much larger form factor. Made it a little more ergonomic by adding this little tab here, along with a little bit of a rubberized surface to hold on to. It's actually like holding a very, very mini little camera that allows you to use this as a viewing port, so you can see what you're actually filming on the Go Ultra while you're using it off the pod. And it makes it a lot more secure. I tuck in my fingers here all the time now when I'm using it for any type of adventures and action. In addition, they've also brought in a longer battery life. In my testing, I was able to get 35 to 40 minutes of 4K 60 frames per second out of just the Go Ultra itself. Putting it back in the pod will quickly recharge it back up to 100%, or you can run it in the pod off the pod battery while it's charging and still be able to film with it. They made the surface of this so that it's a little bit more of a matte finish and not glossy, so it is easier to hold and you're not likely to just let it slip out of your hands and fall. Another great thing about it is they boosted the audio recording, so now you could actually use it standalone for vlogging or something like that. And we're talking, given the form factor and the size of this little thing, you can stick it in a pocket and take it out and use it anywhere, anytime, for any type of video recording or even photos. It does a great job with photos too. Way better than I had thought, coming from such a small package. Another thing that they brought to the Go Ultra, something that a lot of people really wanted, was micro SD. The last ones had 64 gig or 128 gig built-in storage. And while the built-in storage is nice, so you'll never forget a memory card, it is limiting because you don't get to swap it out on the fly, and you don't get to have a larger memory capacity without paying more money, and you were still limited at 128 gig. With the new tether, you can put it on the action pod itself to allow you to keep this easily connected to yourself while you're filming or running or doing something of an adventure, or you can put it on the Go Ultra itself, which is really useful. If you're going to put it on a headband, you can wrap it around for safety. If you're putting on the magnetic pendant, this gives you yet one more place of security to make sure it's not falling off. But even let's say you do lose it, it falls off, you don't know where it is, they still have Find My connected inside of the camera, which means you can use your iPhone, set up Find My with it, and track it wherever it might be. As long as there's some way to connect to the Find My network, which is another iPhone or even Android phone, it'll connect to that and it'll give you the location. So no matter what, now you have the tether to help you to not lose it, but should you lose it, you're still covered with that as well. The stabilization for something so small is really spectacular. I took it on several runs and I was really surprised at how well the motion was controlled with a high rate of the image stabilization. With this on here, when you're running, obviously, I did not take any extra care to go slower, smoother, and it still did a really great job of not making you feel like you want to throw up just watching the footage as it comes out. I've used the DJI Action 5 Pro, I've used the Insta360 Ace Pro 2, I've used the GoPro Hero 12, and all of those, when you're wearing them running, they do get kind of heavy. Here's the setup you're gonna wear on your head when you're using something like a typical action camera. As you can see, it is a little bit hefty to wear, and it does start feeling heavy as you go, especially running. So it was not my favorite thing. I would use it sometimes, but I always preferred holding it handheld, which doesn't give you as much of an immersive POV experience as wearing something on your head. I have some pretty cool races coming up, and I really was not looking forward to having one of these on my head for a lot of it, but I really wanted to capture that POV, especially since my hands are gonna be pretty busy on some of these technical mountain trails. So having a new form factor that gives you an even lighter experience is fantastic. It is an optional accessory, but here is the headband that you can get, which is super lightweight, and the clip that comes with the camera snaps in there and then magnetically pops on, and you're good to go. And it's so much lighter. In fact, lighter than just the headband itself for the other action cameras. Another cool feature of the Go Ultra is, since it is a square, if you forget which perspective you're filming in, whether it's portrait or landscape, there's a little blue light on top which shows you where it is at any given time. So when you start filming, you have your red light showing that you're recording down here. So when you're in landscape, you know from the light on top that you're shooting in landscape. All you have to do is flip it to the side, now you're shooting portrait. On the fly, in the middle of recording, doesn't matter. I have a lot more videos that will be coming up in the next week that will compare it to the DJI Action 5 Pro, as well as Insta360's own Ace Pro 2. I can tell you this thing is punching way above its weight class, given all its capabilities. Now, if you still need the 120 frames per second at 4K, you're gonna have to go with one of your typical action cameras like Insta360 offers in the Ace Pro 2, and they offer 8K 30 frames per second on that. But if you want something that's going to be go anywhere with you, just start recording, taking pictures. You don't have to rely on your phone all the time. With magnetic back, you can slap on anything magnetic on the go, something you're not going to be able to do with an iPhone, or you can put it right on the magnetic pendant that comes with it, so you can walk around. This is fantastic for any type of travel vlog you want to do, or even just capturing travel videos for your families at home when you go back, friends, whatever. It's super easy, super lightweight. You don't even really notice it's there after a while. And again, with the walking, that stabilization balances it very, very well. So now I'm going to switch over to the Go Ultra so you can see what it looks like in its video mode. Right now I'm using the Insta360 Mic Air. You can see it's right here in my shirt, right there. It's got a magnetic back, so it's able to slip that behind the shirt and pop that on. The mic, when in my testing, has sounded pretty good. The onboard mics, we'll test that in a moment as well. But really, this camera, the Insta360 Go Ultra, is like the culmination of everything Insta360 has done with all their camera lines and brought things in. Their audio is much better. The video formats are much better. The battery life is much better. They've even got all their normal sport device input. So you have Garmin, Coros, Polar, Apple Watch. Now, even Strava, you can put those in if you want to see some of your stats on there for cycling, for running, for any type of other activity like that that you're using a GPS watch for. So I've got some of that from one of my runs that we'll show you here as well. And you can edit that in and out with whatever types of stats you want to show. And this is a pretty cool way to keep people that really are interested in the activity you're doing following along if the scenery doesn't change that much. Like, my main sport is running. And when you're running, even running at faster paces, not a lot of the scenery changes that fast. So having stats so people can follow along, or if I'm just trying to use it as a training video for somebody else for something with running, it's a really cool thing to do. The Action Pod has improved. Their accessories there's a ton of accessories now that they have for their lineup, so you have a lot of different things you can do, and I think the Insta360 Go Ultra is going to be the go-to camera for a whole lot of people. Matter of fact, the sensor size on the Insta360 Go Ultra is the same as the iPhone 16 Pro, so you're able to use a camera that costs way less than your phone, built more durable, and a lot tinier for all your different types of photo needs that you want. And the Insta360 app continues to be great, so you just download your photos into there, or you can take the micro SD card new to the Go Ultra and pop that into your computer and edit from there. All right, now we're walking along and I'm using the microphone built into the Go Ultra so you can hear how that sounds by itself. Walking along, there's a bridge right near me, so you might hear some cars going over it. We're walking over that way. I'm on the canal, so you might hear some of the water, some birds, but there are several different settings you can have, something like a high wind rejection. You can even go stereo depending if you're doing something like a concert or anything with music, or you can do just your standard wind rejection if you don't need it on high. It's really cool to be able to just film like this, or if you want to set up and just take it out of the pod, I have here this metal pole. Done. Now I can walk back here with the action pod. I can talk from a distance. I can set it there if I'm doing some type of running thing, or if I want to do a running vlog and I'm putting it here to catch me as I go by. So there's a lot of different functionality that this has with this magnetic back. So this is a really great go everywhere camera. I'm really happy with it. We'll be having a lot more videos coming in the next week. They'll show a lot of different things, user functions, some guides to different things, comparisons with the other action cameras out there, and how to get the best image quality from your Insta360 Go Ultra. But for now, thanks for watching and hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, leave those below.